Good afternoon. I'm happy to be with you. I am reading day 9 of reading the Bible in 1 year. It's in chronological order. I got the sheet from the Dominicans at Haverstock Hill the first Sunday after Christmas. I'm only 2 days behind because I was away in London and I didn't start until I returned home, which is Norfolk. And I have got 2 more days to catch up. We're on the 11th of January, so I'm now going to be reading from day 9. I'm going to be reading Genesis 16 and 17, Psalm 9, Matthew 5, 13 to 26. The first one I'm going to be reading is the birth of Ishmael. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Abram's wife Sarai had borne him no child, but she had an Egyptian slave girl called Hagar. So Sarai has kept me from having children. Go to my slave girl. Perhaps I shall get children through her. And Abram took Sarai's advice. Thus, after Abram had lived in Canaan for 10 years, Sarai took Hagar, her Egyptian slave girl, and gave her to Abram as his wife. He went to Hagar, and she conceived. And once she knew she had conceived, her mistress counted for nothing in her eyes. Then Sarai said to Abram, "This outrage done to me is your fault. It was I who put my slave girl into your arms, but now she knows she has conceived. I count for nothing in her eyes. Yahweh judge between me and you." "Very well," Abram said to Sarai. "Your slave girl is at your disposal. Treat her as you think fit." Sarai accordingly treated her so badly that she ran away from her. The angel of Yahweh found her by a spring in the desert, the spring on the road to Shur. He said, "Hagar, slave girl of Sarai, where have you come from, and where are you going?" "I am running away from my mistress Sarai," she replied. The angel of Yahweh said to her, "Go back to your mistress and submit to her." The angel of Yahweh further said to her, "I shall make your descendants too numerous to be counted." Then the angel said to her, "Now you have conceived and will bear a son, and you shall name him Ishmael, for Yahweh has heard your cries of distress. A wild donkey of a man he will be, his hand against every man, and every man's hand against him, living his life in defiance of all his kinsmen." Hagar gave a name to Yahweh, who had spoken to her. "You are El Roi," by which she meant, "Did I not go on seeing here after him who sees me?" This is why the well is called the Well of Lahai Roi. It is between Kadesh and Bered. Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram gave his son born by Hagar the name of Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when Abram bore him Ishmael. The covenant and circumcision of Genesis 17. When Abram was 99 years old, Yahweh said, I am El Shaddai. Live in my presence. Be perfect, and I shall grant a covenant between myself and you, and make you very numerous. And Abram bowed to the ground. God spoke to him as follows, For my part, this is my covenant with you. You will become the father of many nations, and you are no longer to be called Abram. Your name is to be Abraham, for I am making you the father of many nations. I shall make you exceedingly fertile. I shall make you into nations, and your issue will be kings. And I shall maintain my covenant between myself and you and your descendants after you, generation after generation, as a covenant in perpetuity, to be your God and the God of your descendants after you. And to you and to your descendants after you, I shall give the country where you are now immigrants, the entire land of Canaan, to own in perpetuity, and I shall be their God. God further said to Abraham, You for your part must keep my covenant, you and your descendants after you, generation after generation. This is my covenant, which you must keep between myself and you, and your descendants after you. Every one of your males must be circumcised. You must circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and that will be the sign of the covenant between myself and you. As soon as he is 8 days old, every one of your males, generation after generation, must be circumcised, including slaves born within the household or bought from a foreigner, not of your descent, whether born within the household or bought, they must be circumcised. My covenant must be marked in your flesh as a covenant in perpetuity. The uncircumcised male whose foreskin has not been circumcised, that person must be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. Furthermore, God said to Abraham, As regards your wife Sarai, you must not call her Sarai, but Sarah or Sarah. I shall bless her, and moreover give you a son by her. I shall bless her, and she will become nations. Kings of peoples will issue from her. Abraham bowed to the ground, and he laughed, thinking of himself, Is a child to be born to a man 100 years old? And will Sarah have a child at the age of 90? Abraham said to God, May Ishmael live in your presence? That will be enough. But God replied, Yes, your wife Sarah will bear you a son whom you must name Isaac, and I shall maintain my covenant with him, a covenant in perpetuity, to be his God and the God of his descendants after him. For Ishmael too, I grant your request. I hereby bless him and will make him fruitful, and exceedingly numerous. He will be the father of 12 princes, and I shall make him into a great nation. But my covenant I shall maintain with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear you at this time next year." When he had finished speaking to Abraham, God went up from him. Then Abraham took his son Ishmael, all the slaves born in his household, or whom he had bought, in short, all the males among the people of Abraham's household, and circumcised their foreskins that same day, as God had said to him. Abraham was 99 years old when his foreskin was circumcised. Ishmael his son was 13 years old when his foreskin was circumcised. Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised on the very same day, and all the men of his household, those born in the household and those bought from foreigners, were circumcised with him. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. A reading from Psalm 9. I thank you, Yahweh God, with my whole heart. I recount all your wonders. I rejoice and delight in you. I sing to your name most high. My enemies are in retreat. They stumble and perish at your presence. For you have given fair judgment in my favor, seated on your throne as upright judge. You have rebuked the nations, destroyed the wicked, blotted out their name forever and ever. The enemy is wiped out, mere ruins forever. You have annihilated their cities. Their memory has perished. See, Yahweh is enthroned forever, keeping his throne firm for judgment. He will himself judge the world in uprightness. Will give a true verdict on the nations. May Yahweh be a stronghold for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble. Those who revere your name can rely on you. You never desert those who seek you, Yahweh God. Sing to Yahweh who dwells in Zion. Tell the nations his mighty deeds. For the avenger of blood does not forget them. He does not ignore the cry of the afflicted. Have pity on me, Yahweh God. See my affliction. Pull me back from the gates of death, that I may recount all your praises at the gates of the daughters of Zion, and rejoice in your salvation. The nations have fallen into the trap they made, their feet caught in the snare they laid. Yahweh God has made himself known, given judgment. He has ensnared the wicked in the work of their own hands. May the wicked turn away to Sheol, all nations forgetful of God. For the needy is not forgotten forever. Not forever does the hope of the poor come to nothing. Arise, Yahweh God. Human strength shall not prevail. The nations shall stand trial before you. Strike them with terror, Yahweh God. The nations shall know that they are no more than human. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. A reading from the Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 5. verses 13 to 26. Salt for the earth and light for the world. You are salt for the earth, but if salt loses its taste, what can make it salty again? It is good for nothing, and can only be thrown out to be trampled under people's feet. You are the light of the world. A city built on a hilltop cannot be hidden. No one lights a lamp to put it under a tub. They put it on a lampstand where it shines for everyone in the house. In the same way, your light must shine in people's sight, so that seeing your good works, they may give praise to your Father in heaven. The fulfilment of the law. Do not imagine that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have come not to abolish, but to complete them. In truth, I tell you, till heaven and earth disappear, not one dot, not one little stroke is to disappear from the law until all its purpose is achieved. Therefore, anyone who infringes even one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be in heaven, but the person who keeps them and teaches them will be considered great in the kingdom of heaven. The new heart standard higher than the old. For I tell you, if your uprightness does not surpass that of the scribes and Pharisees, you will never get into the kingdom of heaven. You have heard how it was said to our ancestors, you shall not kill, and if anyone does kill, he must answer for it before the court. But I say this to you, anyone who is angry with a brother will answer for it before the court. Anyone who calls a brother fool will answer for it before the Sanhedrin, and anyone who calls him traitor will answer for it in hellfire. So then, if you're bringing your offering to the altar, and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your offering there before the altar. Go and be reconciled with your brother first, and then come back and present your offering. Come to terms with your opponent in good time, while you're still on the way to the court with him, or he may hand you over to the judge, and the judge to the officer, and you will be thrown into prison. In truth, I tell you, you will not get out till you have paid the last penny. The Gospel of the Lord. Thank you for listening. Send you the peace of Christ. May the Lord heal you, all those who need healing, and forgive those you need to forgive, and ask the Lord to forgive you. Sending you the peace of Christ, and next time we'll be reading day 10. I apologize if there were any mistakes in that. It's possible that I hadn't typed it up correctly in some places, because I type everything up, because the script in the Bibles are too small to read when recording so many. It's long, and I apologize if I've made any mistakes. God bless you all. Thank you for listening.